life with a routine pattern that is leading them down towards sickness and disease. We're helping to shift that sail a different direction. We want to get them off the shallows of disease and back into the deep waters of adventure, where they have the vim, vigor, and vip that they were born with, that they have the opportunity to have that energy that they've always wanted and know that they can have. And we have to now reprogram our thinking, Gardy, that we're being told that just because you have ailments, you have headaches, you have joint pain, you have belly fat, you have whatever your symptom is, oh, you're just getting older. Welcome to aging. Aging's not for the weak at heart, right? And man, we've got to wake people up to go, no. Don't give in to that. Age is only a number, so says Gary Knoll, the great nutritionist of the days past. We have to remember that if we do what we can do and plant that oak tree today, every day, then what happens is 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you're going to have a tree worth admiring. And that tree for you is going to be your tree of health. And it should be producing good fruit, a good harvest. And what that looks like for you health-wise is living with no headaches, living with the energy, the mental clarity that you want, the leanness that you're after, the sleep patterns that you want. And we all are on the journey, and we all are dealing with different aspects of the health health stuff, and we all have little things, but I would rather the stuff you're dealing with be a weed compared to an oak tree of problem, right?
Oh, yeah.
When you have massive disease in your body, man, it can be scary. When people live with pain, they think, what if I never get out of pain and I have to wake up and deal with this pain every time I turn over in bed? I mean, sleeping's supposed to be subconscious, and yet you're consciously aware of every time you turn over in bed. If that's you, we might have a solution for you. I'd encourage you to give us a call and a shout and let us help you see what we see in body care, what we see in biochemistry modulation, and get that inflammatory response down. If you are dealing with cardiovascular issues, or if you've got circulatory problems, whether like post-stroke or concussions, for example, there's so much that we can do to turn the brain back on and to circulate healthy blood to the brain to clean up, those damaged tissues. And we want to get your body performing better every day. And if you can start recognizing and seeing that you're in more control of your health than you realize, then I believe you win, and you pass that idea and that philosophy down through the ages. And I think that's where the generational blessing that we want to see passed down to our offspring and our offspring's offspring and our offspring's offspring's offspring. Guess what? That is the generational blessing of teaching and training people, not just giving a man a fish, but training a man to fish so that they know how to navigate the terrain. Mm-hmm. We talked about a little bit last week how important the terrain is. The terrain, what does the terrain mean? The terrain means we look at the different systems of the body and we overhaul them. You can do that? Well, of course you can. Instead of focusing on just headaches, let's go find the underlying cause. Maybe it's a congested liver. Maybe it's a slow bowel. Maybe it's dirty lymphatics. Maybe we've got to improve the drainage pathways in your body so that you're not clogged up. And when that clog happens, you get these symptoms. And they show up differently for everybody. I find a lot of times the symptoms manifest themselves in different forms in many different body types. But the cause is the same. And I think that's one of the most frustrating things that Western medicine today has observed is they don't recognize that there are only so many systems in the body, and those systems need to be overhauled. If you just hyper-focus on one specialty and just focus on the nerves all the time, well, the nerves could definitely be affected. Your brain could be affected by toxicity or a clog in the chain downstream. I mean, it could be a nerve damage. Could be. I mean, and that would indeed be a place, I think, where Western medicine could do something, right, maybe. But at the end of the day, what about the recovery? What are we doing to encourage people to recover from ails? Are we just painting over rust? which, is kind of a moot point, because if you have symptoms and you just keep covering those symptoms with medication, drugs, you just don't get to that underlying cause of fixing the problem. You just now learn to live on an antacid. And an antacid in your stomach, because you have indigestion, bloating, and heartburn, isn't a solution. It's actually compounding your problem, making your problem all the worse. I mean, how many people you think float around with indigestion, heartburn, bloating in that upper GI?
Yeah, I think that a lot do. You see a lot of marketing for it. There's commercials on every channel. You watch a football game or you watch any kind of sports, there's going to be an antacid that's marketed and pushed.
And I think that, and for me, like we were just talking before the show, I mean, like if we have pancreatic enzyme products and stomach acid products that are very effective at improving the digestive ability of our bodies. Like one of the products that I love, and everybody knows I love it, it's called adaptocrine. And adaptocrine is a hormone product. Well, you're talking about digestion. How does that connect? Well, interestingly, I think one of the reasons this product is so phenomenal is the company blended it with stomach acids. Interesting. Why would they do that, you think? Well, if a person is stressed out, their cortisol goes up. They actually digest less. They don't absorb as well. Therefore, they're compounding their food intake and their fueling system, right? So if I put these de-stressing herbs in, and then I put a little support for digestion to make sure that you can break those herbs down, maximizing your absorption, maximizing the delivery of those herbs to the tissues for stress management, all of a sudden I have a product that is self-sufficiently getting to where it needs to go to help manage your high spikes in cortisol, that stress hormone that causes all kinds of things to go wrong. It causes your body to stop burning body fat. Ooh, now we're gaining weight. That might answer the question why we tried everything and we can't seem to lose weight. It might be causing your body to be bloated all the time, and you're not breaking down food well because your body is stressed out. And you might think to yourself, well, I'm not stressed. Well, maybe, but you got to remember there's multiple types of stress, right? There's mental stress. I mean, how many people floating around today that have just so much on their mind? They have so many, responsibilities, so many to-do lists, so many emails to check, so many texts to look at, so many, reels to review or shorts to look at. I mean, you just go, goodness gracious, there's so much drawing on your attention span. So your mind is constantly being burdened. That's a stress. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that's a stress for people?
I agree with you, yeah.
I mean, I sit around and I watch even my own family get caught in what they call the social media wave. You just start swiping. And then, 20 minutes, 30 minutes has gone by. And that's idle, but man, what happens, where the stress I think comes is you go, oh my gosh, I've spent 30 minutes doing this, wasting my life away. And what? I still got all these things to do. And now the pressure of stress rises and you go, oh, cranky. I don't have time to get this done. I got to go to the next appointment. I got to go to the next thing. And then it's just domino effect of dun, 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 dun. And that mental stress never seems to let up. And that's a burden that your body has to carry. Well, and that might not be your issue. Maybe it's laborious stress, physical stress. I see people working in this heat. That's a stress.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. I was thinking yesterday when I was in the office, so we have chiropractic at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, and we have nutrition at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center. I always find that the nutrition is a brain teaser for the clinicians, and the chiropractic is a physical stress for the clinicians because we have to, manually maneuver all kinds of different people's joints around, don't we? and so I'm thinking to myself, thankfully I'm in the air condition, that's nice, but I purposely put myself in positions where I'm ergonomically stretching different joints and mobilizing to full capacity my squat positions or my side posture positions, or how I when I'm working on somebody, patients don't realize, I mean, as I'm working on them, I'm attempting to keep good form and good posture so that I feel my joints decompress and my body align. And the philosophy of being, I think, active is a good thing, but it can also be a stressful thing, because how many people, after a long, hard day, go home and they unwind with processed food? They unwind with too much alcohol. They unwind with too much TV. And they just sit back, and then they stay up too late, and they never get that sleep to recover from that physical burden that they put on their body every day. Now that is a physical stress that is starting to accumulate against them. And then that can create, again, the same cortisol spike or adrenaline spike, and that will create shifts in how their metabolism works. And you keep eating these foods over and over again. I had a lady yesterday come in and suffers with anxiety and depression, and she says, but we were looking at her blood work, and her blood work, when we review blood work, we look at it through what we call functional eyes. So if you ever heard of a functional medicine practice, that's one of the pieces that Living Well offers. We're not just nutritionists. We're not just foodies. We are basically clinical analysis specialists. We look deeper into what your blood is telling you that Western medicine is not telling you. That's why you can have symptoms, your blood work, quote unquote, be normal, but when you come to see a functional practice like ours, all of a sudden we start seeing things through a different set of lenses. And we were looking at her, and we found 5 different markers that indicated her liver was under stress, that her liver was inflamed. But interesting, her inflammatory marker, which is like systemic fire throughout the body, like how much measurable fire can we, see, was really low. And it's because she is on a nutritional program, she's on a supplemental regime program, and we're managing and working with her through stress, right? So that's kind of cool. But she goes, why is my liver so jacked up? I've never had alcohol. I've never smoked. Isn't that the cog in the wheel, the misnomer, the misconception? Well, it doesn't. You can have a fatty liver, which is what she had, a fatty liver, a congested liver, a broken down liver, and it not be from poisons that are obvious, alcohol, and cigarettes maybe. Okay, in this case, that's what she went with. And I go, well, have you ever heard of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease? And she goes, no. I'm like, well, this disease is caused by processed food. So one of my mentors a long time ago would always talk about how sugar affects the body, and how when you take too much sugar or carbohydrates that convert into sugar, you have a point system built in, and it's a lifelong point system. Once you run out of points, you're in a pickle. Can you regenerate it? Maybe. But sometimes we can screw our blood sugar up, our blood sugar handling pathways, our metabolic pathways, so much that it is not as fixable as it could have been if we started 10 years ago. So today's the day. If this is the first time you're hearing the idea that you can take care of the systems in your body, that you can take care of the terrain in your body and make your body healthier, stronger, this is where we want to start leading you and start getting you to think differently about how you take your health care into your own hands. Because it's not just waiting for disease to show up. Like, that ship needs to sail, right? We need to get off that boat, and because I'm telling you, when disease shows up in the blood, you're pretty far, shipwrecked, if you will. Can it be reversed? Of course it can. And like in this lady's case, it wasn't that she had like a full-blown, liver disease process. She's just highly inflamed in the liver, but not inflamed enough that it showed up in the system as a whole. And so we found that based on her blood patterns that she had an infection in her liver, and we were able to build a protocol to support her immune system. I'm not going after the infections. I'm in treating those. I want to enhance the body. I want to enhance the liver, make the liver stronger. Remember, there's 1,500 known pathways in the liver. 1,500. I've got 38 products that support different phases of those 1,500 pathways. There could be more. I would say every process of the body goes through the liver at some capacity. And so if you have a liver that is dealing with B vitamin glitches in manufacturing, you can't do what's called methylation or detox. Well, if you can't detox efficiently, that means you're accumulating waste every day. And if you're accumulating waste every day, that will catch up to you. And it'll catch up to you in the form of lung stuff, because your lungs become a gaseous resource to dump toxins. It'll be in the form of skin stuff. You'll have skin issues, whether it's hyperhidrosis or eczema or psoriasis, or you have some sort of dry patch somewhere or everywhere. You'll have these little red dots start popping up all over your body. You'll have the little liver spots start poking up all over your body. That's your body's tails telling you that something is wrong, and it's coming out of the skin as an exit channel. It's fascinating that the body is communicating. It's unfortunate that we're not paying attention. And at Living Well, we pay attention. We want to look you over head to foot, make sure that everything is, up to snuff, looking like it's supposed to, that the body is performing as well as it can be, at every phase of life. And I believe that's what makes the difference. And here's the challenge: is you have to appreciate that if you left yourself to your own devices, doing what you're currently doing, and we measure, and then your alternate self follows through with our protocols and programs. So maybe we do one sequential immune quarter, maybe we do 2 detoxes, so we hit our 42 days a year, and that's all you did for the whole year. You strengthen your immune system and you detox twice a year. If you did that for the next 10 years, and then your alternate self that chose to just not participate in the protocols, and you kept on living out life the way most people today are doing it, which is just idle thinking. They're just kind of, why is my car pulling into that fast food joint? And why is it pulling into this? I can't control it. It's like it's an automatic car all of a sudden.
Yeah.
They have driverless cars.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how lazy we are as a society. We need driverless cars. I mean, we're too lazy to put our foot on the gas pedal. That's weird. I mean, who do you give the ticket to?
I give the ticket deserves to go to the car.
Yeah, that's right, the car.
Sure.
But unfortunately, that car is now registered to somebody.
Yeah.
And dang, it's still coming back to us. So I don't think that's going to get you off the hook. But at the end of the day, we do this subconsciously, pulling into these patterns of life and park there, making ourselves sicker, and sicker. And if we can help people recognize that if we can just do little things, if your alternate self can look back and go, oh my gosh, I look 10 years younger because I chose to do 2 detoxes a year and to take care of my immune system for 1 quarter of the year. I stayed on a relative mindset of what I eat's important, but what I don't eat is more important. And that really is the I think fundamentals. I mean, I don't think food is rocket science. We have in our teen class, we have these kids building out what we call an ABC list. So the A protein list, a B protein list, a C protein list, an ABC carb list, an ABC fats list, and an ABC sugar list. And they had a really nice discussion around that. Man, like sugar foods, processed foods, really don't serve the body. I don't know if there is an A list. I don't know that there is a B list. It's always a C, D, or an F. You know what I mean? And I mean, can your body tolerate some of that stuff? Well, I mean, I guess, but why do you want to tolerate things? Why not enhance things? Right? We got to change our thinking. We got to get our thinking back in alignment. And, because, again, that mental stress, that physical stress, we've been talking about food, that's now chemical stresses. If you put in chemical stresses and the body is having a hard time already because maybe your mom was gestational diabetes with you, so your body has already been programmed to have a mismanagement in the realm of sugar. Does that make sense? I mean, we have gestational diabetes, pregnancy moms come in, and we help them get their sugars as controlled as possible because we're shifting the scale. We're pulling against heavy loaded weight. It's fighting against us, but we believe that anything your body can develop The good news is it can undevelop. But you've got to participate. We've got to get you involved in the thinking process. And then all of a sudden, when you start grabbing the reins or pulling on that ship's wheel, captain's wheel, you start recognizing that although it might be very minute of change in the beginning, it starts to exponentially evolve into a lifestyle shift that then becomes apparent to those around you. That you just naturally, you might not even lose weight. This is what's so fascinating. I've had patients, they go, I'm not losing a pound, but my britches feel better. Like, I don't feel as bloated and gassy, and my clothes fit like they're supposed to. So-and-so tells me that I look like I've lost weight, and I'm telling her in my head, I ain't lost weight. But what's happening is the body's metabolic processes are actually getting rid of excess toxins. And those excess toxins, you might suspect, would be a relinquishment of excess pounds. Most people do lose some pounds. And really and truly, they lose 20 or 30 pounds, and they have this idea of, again, good marketing, programming you to see yourself a certain way. That's one of the dangers social media-wise are these filters on phones. The filters are so good that you can alleviate all the inadequacies. Remember in the Cars series, Mater, the little tow truck? Yeah. And that tow truck, he had this idea that he didn't want to lose his dents because those dents were stories. Those dents were a part of his history that he didn't want to forget, who he became through those stories. And we're in a culture where we want to erase the dents. We want to erase the history so that we can, see ourselves in this purified perfection state. And so we have this skewed vision of like who we are and whose we are and what we can become, and we have this false image of like what what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah, I think of like getting liposuction or getting that, and then you go back to eating the exact same way that you did before. You're probably going to end up in the same place. Or like winning the lottery. You get all this money, but you kind of manage the finances the same way you managed you made $30,000 a year. You get, $1 million. You live the same way, or you're going to blow it again.
Isn't that something? And my dad always used to say that goofy thinking produces one thing and one thing only: goofy results. And it goes back what you just said is like we can get you there. And I'm always fascinated with the lap band procedures and things of that because a lot of times the requirement is for a patient to lose 50, 60, 100 pounds before they qualify for the procedure. And then they get on board. They are like die hard. They do everything they're supposed to do to lose whatever pound mark, benchmark they're supposed to hit. They hit the benchmark, do the lap band, and then all of a sudden they do what? They eat the crappy foods that caused them to gain the weight in the first place that they had taken out in order to lose all that weight. And instead of just keeping that lifestyle happening and keep losing another 50 or another 75 pounds or another 10 or 20 or whatever they're trying to accomplish, they decide to just now their stomach is smaller, shrunk, or bypassed or whatever, so they eat less of the garbage foods. Well, if you put bad fuel in, garbage out, right? And I get it. It's good marketing. It tastes good, Dr. Chapa. It's heavy. This morning when I was pulling that weight in the gym, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do another set, Gardy. Like that's a lot of weight. Well, suck it up, Buttercup. It's good for you. They have proven science that doing hard things is way of life. We can do hard things. We're more than capable. We can do all things through Christ who strengthens us, right? We're what God brings us to, God brings us through. He equips us to work through the challenges that life brings. I think life, in a sense, is supposed to it should be challenging. It shouldn't. I mean, like they've done studies on the difference between stresses. So we've talked about mental stress, physical stress, chemical stress. There's this idea of what they call distress or eustress. Distress are the stresses that hurt you, that are tearing your body down, that are causing your body to fall apart faster than you can recover. Eustress is a stress that you put on your body that maximizes the expression of healthy cells and genes. So which stress do you think you want to be a part of more? Eustress, activate longevity genes, or distress, destroy the body?
The first one.
Yeah, right? But and we have to get people to recognize that a little bit of discomfort and pain and push is not always a bad thing. But man, you would say, well, man, that and I love what Gary Knoll used to say. He would say, if it tastes good, it can't be good for you. And I hate that truth. But at some level, I mean, think about it. Did you ever have to acclimate your sweet tooth to sugar?
No.
No.
Right.
It's just like naturally like, oh,
it's good.
That is good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And did you ever really have to acclimate your taste buds to a good warm loaf of bread?
No, it's good.
You can smell the yeast in the air as we're talking about it. Did you spray something? But when it comes to the vegetables, that's what God said we were going to have to work with the plants, toil with the land in order to get any value from it. So God knew we were going to have to work the land post, leaving the great garden, right? And so if we're going to have to work the land, we need to recognize the difference between real food, sometimes food, and all the and never foods. We want you to get it that, yeah, you can get into those sugary things, but you've got to develop that bitter palate, that extreme opposite. Because when you have that bitter palate, you'll appreciate the salt and the sour. And when you have the salt, sour, and you have the bitter and the sugar palates in place, in balance, you can develop the fifth palate, which is the savory palate, which allows you to be okay walking past the donut. You're okay walking past the pastry. You're okay walking past the soda. And what happens is all these empty calorie foods that are not serving you or not fueling you the way you wish they did, you begin to gravitate to foods that are serving you. And then we're not in a place where digestion is constantly being taxed and our bowels are constantly being swelling up due to clog. We're allowing the body to eliminate what it doesn't need, assimilate what it does need, deliver those nutrients so that we can maximize the longevity vitality curve. And that is the end game. That's what we all want. That is what drives us to have that eustress. I was watching this little short the other day, which I've just realized what a short was. I had no idea. But I think I finally got the definition.
Yeah.
And
what's your definition?
It's like the TikTok of YouTube. It's just a quick mini video.
Yeah, I think of the Disney Pixar shorts that they used to do before the Pixar movies. Remember those? Like the guys playing chess. It's just a little one, and then to get into the movie.
That's correct.
Right.
So it's just like a teaser or just a game to kind of tease the brain.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I saw this video of this 70, I don't know how old he is. I'm going to guess he's probably in his 70s or 80s. And he is, strong as a rock, ripped solid, but he's skinny. I mean, he's 75, 85. I mean, easy. And he said, if you want to look like me when you're 75, 85, this is what you need to be doing. There's a picture of him doing pull-ups and push-ups. But then it quickly flips to the next guy who's good 10 years, 15 years younger and says, no. If you want to look like him at 75, 55, 75 or 85 or whatever, you got to do what I'm doing. And it's another set of, crazy, weird diamond push-ups and pull-ups, right? And then it flips to another video of a guy that's 10 years, 15 years younger, and he says, no. If you want to look like that dude on the front when you're that old, guess what? You've got to be doing these. And it's another set of weird push-ups, and his feet are angled up, and he's like, different body weight stuff. And then it flips to another one, and another one, and another one. And it just kept going down all the way to a person in their, mid-teens. And they're all doing the work. And it's the consistency over time that gives you the result whenever you're in your aging years.
You can't be 75 and start. You got to live that lifestyle leading
That's right.
up. Oh, for sure.
And don't get me wrong. You might be going, well, that just, gave me permission to not start. No. Even if you are today in your aging years, and you're 60, 70, 80, 90, whatever, what can you do? I'm very into mobility. I'm into neurology. I'm into maximizing, what the body's capabilities are in the physical. And I think that has a lot to do with how functional it is in the biochemical. Because, if you don't feel good, you don't really want to go play, right?
Right.
You want to just go sit and waste away, right? That's no fun. But what if, I saw this little reel about a guy that just has a 30-day squat challenge. So his squat challenge is not what I thought it was going to be. Literally, he just wants you to sit in he defined as the Asian squat position, right? So what's the Asian squat position?
If I had to guess, it's where you can put your butt all the way to the floor and keep your feet on the ground, which is very difficult. I try and do it all the time.
I'm going to try it right here just for fun.
Let me switch this camera shot. If you're watching on social media,
this
then
could be fun.
You'll be able to see this.
So this is a specialty of mine. So I don't know how much longer we have on the show. I wonder how long I could sit like this. But so I'm flat-footed, right? And knees together, back is straight. And the idea is he wants you to, for 30 straight minutes, be able to sit like this. And so I need to reposition.
Could you do that without a back?
Yeah.
You can do that without a back?
Mm-hmm.
Like if the back wasn't there?
We'll just do it this way.
Okay. He's going to move the chair. And social media is getting a treat. If you're listening on 99.5 FM, thank you. But Dr. Chapa,
there we go.
Imagine this in your head.
Yeah, imagine
this is impressive.
Sitting in the squat position, and we're just going to have some fun. We're just going to see. So I'm going to set my clock, and we're going to just see how much longer I can make this happen. So, and there's a lot of things you can do in this position. So I can feel tension in my calves, and not my calves, but in my tibialis anterior, the front of my calves, my shins, and I try to keep my back as straight as I can, and I just sit and I just lean forward a little bit, stretching those muscles, lean to the right a little bit, lean to the left a little bit, and you're mobilizing the ankle bones, you're mobilizing the feet, right? So being able to sit in this position for 30 minutes is the challenge, and so I'm thinking, I know I can go I could push myself for 10. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, we might just see how far I can go. But it is weird to be sitting here. This is one of the things they said. They said, distract yourself while you're doing it.
Just talk about something else, right?
About radio is I get to talk about health and wellness. And this is a piece of the health triad. Being physically fit enough to do some of the activities that we want to do. People are fit enough to run marathons, but they're not healthy enough. So the great Dr. Philip Maffetone, Olympian, he would say that we can be healthy enough to run a marathon, but not fit enough. And we can find ourselves in the little ward, right? The medic clinic before the race is done. We could be fit enough, but not healthy enough, and we still find ourselves in the medic clinic. And so I think at the end of the day, we have to be challenging ourselves to some degree. And so I find that, this little things like this, we're just not patient enough to sit this long, much less, can we get in that position?
Yeah, my heels stick up just a bit. I can't get them all the way down like you.
And but he says you can, So the challenge would be is start with what you can. And even if you're on your toes, let your body slowly evolve into that space and see how long you can go. So my butt just finally touched the chair.
Mm-hmm.
So so I'm still my system is still stretching as I'm talking, and so it's just it's kind of weird, right? They actually say this is the most appropriate way to go poo.
It just loosens things up there.
Well, no, there's a tendon,
okay.
and it basically releases so that all of your intestinal tract is in a perfect poo alignment, and so this is the more appropriate way. The Asian populations say that this is the way that you're supposed to take a break and rest. You should squat down and just chill, and have conversation. What if we ate dinner this way? What if you tried to get down and play with your dog this way? And what does it do? It opens up the pelvis. It opens up the flexibility of your hips. It maximizes knee expansion and ankle expansion, and the rocking back and forth on my ankle bones, that they're sending nerve stimulation to parts of my brain that may never get that type of expanded long-term eustress. Would be an example of eustress. So eustress is something that we want to practice. We want to practice finding ways to put ourselves in a little bit of an uncomfortable position in order to maximize the longevity curve. And so, at this point, many people might start feeling numbness or tingling in their hips or legs or knees, or burning in their muscles. That burning sensation that I had initially in the tib anterior, that front shin on the outside, is gone, like it's stretched. And so it kind of relaxed. So there was some tension in there, and just by sitting in this posture has allowed that to release. And so, this is just another kind of cool thing. I think this is a form of martial art, is finding that center, finding that peace, and just, how long can you chill with good posture in that position, right? And so I look at it like, this is a physical vitamin. That, what are you physically capable of that you aren't giving yourself credit for or attempting? What about taking your vitamins and recognizing that everybody every day, in order to refuel, recover, regenerate, is needing a multivitamin, a fish oil, and a multimineral. And the more you have in multiminerals and multivitamins, the better your body is going to perform electrically. And the muscles are going to be elongating and contracting accordingly. And so we want to help people gravitate towards doing things that they can do, that's not hard. So we have advanced programs, but simple and easy. I had a lady yesterday say, man, I just can't, take as many vitamins as you take. That's okay. She's still new. She's still discovering that I adjust babies. She's still discovering that we help people avoid antibiotics. We give people the tools to stimulate their immune system whenever their fevers are high. And help them understand why their fevers are high, and that fever's not a bad thing. And putting medication in to subdue a fever is not the right approach. And we want to give people the ability to maximize their immune system terrain. How do we clean the fishbowl? How do we maximize the systems? How do we make the body perform? Why you got that smirk on your face? I'm
just watching you doing your thing over there.
It is kind of interesting. How long have we been going? I set a timer, but I'm gonna. So we are currently at 6. Oh, wow! It's longer than I went the other day. 6 minutes and 25 seconds.
It's the distraction.
It's the distraction.
Oh yeah,
that's right. And and when I'm in this position too, I try to straighten my back. Lean to the right a little bit, lean to the left a little bit. I'm right now just trying to carry on a fair conversation and not fall off the back of the chair. But
yeah.
I feel good. I don't feel any weird numbness or tingling. The real magic will be when I actually go to stand up. So
we'll get that on video too.
That's right. That's the most important part. Can he actually stand up after this? And so we're going to make that 10 minutes. We still got 10 minutes of showtime left.
Mm-hmm.
And but anyway, so I love the idea of what can you do today to maximize your terrain? What can you do to maximize the systems in your body? What can you do to allow your body to perform better today than it did yesterday? I was training the other morning with Molly, and I think it was Saturday. No, it was Friday. It was back day. And she lifted, some guy came up to me and goes, dude, watch out for her. She's manhandling weight more than most of the dudes in this place. And she's really strong. And she told me that she had lifted, I don't know, I think it was 70 pounds, back row, bent over back rows, and which is pretty.
It's a lot of weight. I can't do that.
It's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
No question. And so he was kind of impressed, right? And so I look around and I go, what are we limiting ourselves to? Because in my head, I'm thinking it probably isn't necessary that we lift 70, 80, 90 pounds in that kind of position.
Yeah.
It really probably not. But she said something, and I said, that's amazing. I said, it's probably not necessary, but it's amazing. And she goes, yeah, but if I can be a little stronger today than I was yesterday, then I'm winning, you know?
Right.
That's a personal, goal is, can you be more flexible today than you were yesterday? Can you be stronger today than you were yesterday? Can you be more positive today than you were yesterday? I mean, I have my days. I can't say that I'm, Mr. Positive every day. I definitely, my perfectionism comes across a little bit as intimidating and negative at times, especially with my, those closest to me, like my lovely family. And I'm thankful that they're tolerant. I mean, God has definitely put people in our lives that tolerate us, but I don't want to just be tolerated. I want to be loving, and I want to love in a gentle way, and recognizing that I'm going to make some mistakes along the way. But man, if I could, if we can inspire each other to push each other onward, upward, goodward, and Godward, I think that makes the journey more fun.
There's two things that come to mind, especially when you're talking about, hey, I want to win. In martial arts, there's a thing you either win or you learn. Even if you have a stumble or you mess up, hey, I'm learning from this. Maybe I can't do this time, and you always try and learn something. The other thing is getting 1% better every day. She's doing those back things. Hey, and, you're lifting 70s, or maybe you're not there yet, but that 1% better is how you grow.
Is how you grow.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the eustress we talked about earlier on. And that eustress is what gives that longevity cycle favor to express what you're looking for, the vitality, the vim, vigor, and vip, that excitement about life, that, you know what, I'm going to pull my butt out of bed today, and I'm going to tackle it one more day. I'm going to do it again, Sam. I'm going to work at this. I'm going to make it better. And I might not be where I want to be, like you said, but man, 1%, that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you accumulate that over time, you start realizing that, that's the win. You know what I mean? Because life is that. And they have done studies where people just sat on a beach, and sitting on a beach, they did nothing, that they said they predict that within 1 year they would actually die, doing nothing except just sitting back, chilling, with no stress at all. We all need some kind of stimuli. We all need some kind of challenge. We all need some sort of monumental, hairy, audacious dream or goal to attain. And even if you've hit some of yours, hit another one.
People walking by, what's
going like,
what's Dr. Chapa doing today?
So I hope he's okay.
Is he sitting like this?
Yeah,
is he
it's
all right?
very bizarre. And it is kind of funny.
He's killing it.
Yesterday, hey, we hit 11 minutes. That's awesome. So we still got 6 minutes. I'm going to try to run the rest of the show like this. I'm still doing good. So here's what I feel. I feel actually more tension anywhere in my back, but it's not like a strain. It's just tension. But I did train back today, so there could be some definite things going on. But I feel overall fairly solid. And so this is kind of exciting to see that I could go this long. I wonder if I could actually make it that 30 minutes. We could just carry on the show and just see what happens.
Next week, knock out an hour?
Yeah, but that would be the thing. Like, my curiosity is, because I've never done, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, I've never done 11 minutes today, right? So we're going to wind up going about 17 minutes, and then we'll do the finale, which is to stand up and see if I can walk it off. And but I mean,
yeah,
I do find that when even challenging myself, this is not completely easy. It's a little uncomfortable.
I'd be sweating. I'd be sweating over there probably. If it was me trying to do that.
Well, I'm trying to figure out, like, because my fingers are actually a little bit clammy. So, but I'm not clammy yet anywhere else. Everything else feels dry at the moment, so that's kind of cool. But I mean, again, we can do hard things. We can do more than we give ourselves credit for.
Right.
So that means if I can do more physical things, does that mean I can do more mental things? I can control my behavior, my attitude, my words. Can I be a little bit kinder? Can I have a gentler spirit? Can I be a little bit more patient? Yes. If you can, and again, going back to this idea of philosophy and martial arting and all these different tactics that we implement into our lives to live better, they should become a discipline that begins to infiltrate other aspects of your well-being. That you are less stressed. I was, after training this morning, I went home and I live against the green belt, those areas that you can't have houses. So it's just like this big grassy knoll. And they mow about 15 or 20 feet off my fence line, so it's not like I have like a forest back there. And me and the dogs go in the back, and I just let them run. And they run, and they do, and they run, and they do, and whatever they're wanting to do, I let them do. And I just sit in the grass and just, sit down, barefooted, take my shirt off, let the sun beat on me. I love that morning sun. We talked about that.
Sitting on the grass, on the floor, on the ground.
Absolutely. Just kind of just taking it in, And when you use the Schumann frequencies of the earth, when you use the electromagnetic field of the earth, those electrons begin to suck inflammation out of your body. And they begin to do frequency work, energy work on your body. We're not grounded enough. We are so tapped in to technology. We're so tapped in to cell phones and social media, and we're always walking around in rubber-soled shoes. We're never taking time to sit long enough barefooted or our butt on the ground chilling, and that's another part of that distress. Being tapped in all the time creates a health crisis for you. And we want to help you recognize that how you treat your body physically, mentally, emotionally is going to ultimately accumulate into toxins, whether bad thinking toxins or physical biochemical toxins or regenerative toxins or degenerative toxins, not being able to regenerate. So at Living Well, we have many therapies now. We're very excited. We have opened up our hydro massage beds. We've got our massage detox foot bath room where you actually get a massage and a detox same time. We have our mid, near, far infrared saunas intact. We have a detox center. And what is that detox center designed to do? That detox center is designed to help maximize your body's ability to create eustress, that healthy stress that allows your body to regenerate and recover, to deburden itself of toxins or things that your body's got built up in your body that it can't get rid of on its own because it's just stuck for whatever purpose, for whatever reason. We want to get you to that space where you're not having the distress as much, but we're creating an environment where you can detox and create eustress, where your body can actually recover and regenerate itself in a really positive fashion. That is cool to me. And I'm very thankful to have that center. And I hope that you guys that are listening will come and check it out. You can just come in and say, I want to do a hydro bed. I had a lady yesterday, she goes, oh, I'm totally doing that again. I had a lady on Thursday go, Doc, 10 minutes is good. I'm sure 20 minutes would be nice, but let me just tell you, 30 minutes, mouth-watering, right? And I tell people all the time, we're not trying to replace the physical act of touch. In massaging, there's nothing better than the human touch. But sometimes convenience, lifestyle, I want you to find I want you to make living better, living well, your new convenience, right? Where you make time to detox. You make time to sit in that infrared sauna and breathe, or sit in that sauna and sit in weird postures, or do some yoga stretches or stretching activities. Sit on that, lay back on that hydro bed and let that hot, pressurized water beat all those knots out of your back and legs and calves and upper back and neck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I'd like the hydro bed. I had like a real massage one time, and I was like, I don't like this person touching me. I don't know who they are. It was weird. So the hydro bed seems like it'd be worth a shot.
I have quite a few people that do not. You're right. They just don't want. Well, one, they don't want to talk to anybody, and sometimes the massage therapist being trapped in a room for an hour wants to talk to somebody. God bless them. And some people, they want to be in control of that touch, that pressure, and they can in this case. So I think we've come to the end. I mean, it is now.
Oh, it's 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. Let's see. How long did I make it? Currently sitting at 17 minutes and 40 seconds.
Chapa's going to be like, I'm going to stay for another hour. Just keep this thing going, right?
I'm actually just now starting to feel a little bit of like tingling
Yeah.
in my ankles. And that's kind of cool. So I think I did pretty good for next evolution. This is now coming up on 18 minutes. So here goes the big finale. We're going to see if I can stand up. So I'm going to work myself into correct posturing here. Let's see. I'm going to walk around a little bit.
Yeah, he's going to be walking around the studio here, and I'm trying to get this camera shot. Again, if you're watching on social media, you can see. Seems like you did good.
Yeah. I don't know that I feel too bad at all, honestly. So
Yeah.
I think I could have gone a little bit longer, but I think 17 or 18 minutes is a next level for me.
Right.
And now what I feel is blood flow just flowing back into my calves, back down into my feet, and my body going, whoa, man, he's intact.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna ease back into mobility. So I'm gonna start. I wouldn't just go run a sprint right now. I would do joint mobility of the ankles. I would start doing a little bit of stretching and joint mobility of the feet to make sure that everything is, on the up and up and mobile before I hop up and just start taking off. But man, I'm actually feeling really accomplished right now. That's pretty amazing. And so I hope that you guys kind of find, something today to challenge yourself with. And at Living Well, we want to help you find the next right step in order to challenge you to be a better version of yourself, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, in all aspects of your life. We want you to know that no matter what your body is dealing with right now, you can resolve it. You can reverse it. Your body wants to heal. God gave it all the power to heal. We're going to pray with you, for you. We're going to maximize our time with you. We're going to find why your body is breaking down so that you can feel good, live good, and be good all the days of your life. So at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, we believe in you. We believe that you need a coach, you need a confidant, you need a mentor, you need an idea. We want to be all those things to you. So we pray and hope that you will choose us whenever you're thinking about all your health and wellness needs, and that we can be your number one health and wellness resource in this community. We pray that you enjoy these shows and that you come and visit our new clinic in League City. It's a beautiful place. We're very thankful. Give us a call, 281-554-8600, or visit us at justlivewell.com. And of course, please, we'd love if you share and like and subscribe to our channels and our social media platforms and our podcasts so that you can always have the most upbeat health and wellness info available to you. So God bless you guys. As Living Well is signing off, we'll catch you at a later date.
Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and let us know if you think you can do that squat just as long as Dr. Chapa.
18 minutes.
Maybe you can do it longer.
Yeah, that would be legit.
Let's see. Thank you, Dr. Chapa.
Yeah,
Appreciate
God bless
you.
you, brother.
This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM.